Ladies, there's a new Texas law that makes it illegal to go through your husband's phone. Now, some people are concerned about this law. I'm not. There are a lot of things that you can do with this law. First things first, tell your man about it. Let him know. Hey, don't worry about your phone. You don't need any codes. There's a new Texas law that says I can't go through your phone. It's illegal. And see what happens. I suspect 1 in 10 men will fall for that and will allow you free access because it's illegal. Do with that what you will, my sisters. Do with that what you will. Second thing, yes, you can't use what you find in his phone in a court of law, but ladies, we're too dependent on receipts. The Bible says the just shall live by faith. We are too dependent on receipts. Your big mama didn't have receipts. She just had that knowing. Your mama didn't have no receipts. She just fasted and prayed and God revealed it to her through a dream. We got to go back to the old ways, ladies. Go back to the old ways where your spirit just told you and you knew it. Third thing, all it means is you have to take the data you get from the phone and contact the side pieces. You're going to have to go through the phone to get other sources of data. The phone to find out where he goes Wednesdays and Fridays, and you show up where he's at Wednesdays and Fridays, and you get solid proof. So you use the phone as a source to get other primary sources of data. Okay? So you're going to more information from the side pieces, and you're going to have to get in the field and get the information yourself. Okay? Fourth thing, this law requires that somebody's going to have to report you. Now, ladies, many of your men, he may be a cheater, but is he also a snitch? Is your man also? Your man may not be a snitch, so it don't even matter. Who's going to report it? So now if your man is a cheater and a snitch, he for the streets. You weren't supposed to be with that man. He for the streets. Just my thoughts, y'all. Have fun.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed 334 bills into law. Let's go over them. First up is Life of Mother, SB 31. Y'all, this ensures doctors that they can perform an abortion to save the mother's life without fear of being prosecuted. Up next is the bathroom bill, SB 240. You have to use the restroom of the gender that you were assigned at birth. No questions asked. Next up, we have SB 10. Now the 10 commandments have to be displayed in every Texas classroom. Personal finance in high school, SB 27. Your child now has to take a half credit about personal finances to graduate high school. Telehealth and teledentistry, HB 1052. If you didn't know, right now, if you live in the state of Texas, you cannot talk to a doctor outside of Texas. Now you can. Content creators, let's talk about HB 3133. You can no longer create a fake scenario and put it on social media for people to think it's real. Don't do it. All right, Texas residents, this video is getting long, so I'll be back with a part 3. But just so you know, the ban on THC was vetoed by Governor Greg Abbott.
Mr. Texas Governor nigga, you got me and my motherfucking kids fucked up. Cause bitch, what you mean it ain't no cell phones? What you mean it ain't no Apple Watches? What do you mean it ain't no communication with the outside world during school hours? Y'all don't give a fuck about education in Texas, because if you gave a fuck about education in Texas, you wouldn't have the No Child Left Behind Act in motherfucking place, bitch. You would have lifted that when you implemented this bullshit ass cell phone law. Why the fuck? The kids can't have cell phones. They can't communicate with their parents, and if y'all on some fucking racist ass bullshit, but if they fail, they pass? So the cell phone shit ain't for fucking education. Got it. Duly motherfucking noted. But what else is duly noted is all you bitches gotta do is declare a national emergency or a fucking quarantine. And where the fuck my kids at? I wouldn't know. Because guess what, bitch? I ain't got no motherfucking communication with them because they're not allowed to communicate with the outside world. So Trump bombed Iran. Y'all banned cell phones. But fact of the matter is, Texas is fighting to be its own country because it was once its own country and it was the last state to be a fucking state because it wasn't a fucking state of the United States. Then the motherfucking governor do what the fuck he want. That nigga don't give a fuck. He will change the day of the week, and these fucking motherfuckers gonna go, bitch. So yeah, call me a bad mom or whatever. My kids will be getting a GED or something because, bitch, my kids is not about to be in a motherfucking establishment with a whole bunch of motherfucking white people. And, bitch, I can't contact them. I'm sorry, bitch. I'm too nigga for that, and I'm from Detroit. Goodbye.
I just gotta say this. Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, and all you other assholes that are over at the Texas Capitol that just voted for kids to not be able to have cell phones last Sunday. I hope you remember that. Well, it's kind of messed up. Why is it messed up? You're always, oh, well, you know, kids need to focus. They need to stay on track. But let's not forget that last year we had 24 shootings in 2024. The highest amount of shootings this whole nation saw. School shootings. Because kids, they had active shooters on site. And the only way that they could get a hold of somebody was through their cell phones. But you want to make it a rule that they can't have their cell phones on because why? They need to focus in school. What about calling their parents to let them know they're safe? Well, you have to have their phones in a safe, secure location. You guys don't give a crap about kids. You get nothing. It's their lifeline. ET phone home. Something's gone wrong. But no, you'd rather just, what? What are you doing away with this for? Why can't kids have their cell phones? Oh, because maybe they're cheating, right? But you do nothing about pew-pew control in the schools to protect them. What, you're just going to hire more police officers so what, that they'll run? Remember Uvalde? Those cops didn't even get involved. Kids had to call their parents. They had to call the police. Let them know there's a school shooter on site. Massive floodings in on their phone systems. Oh, there's a school shooter on site. But you want to do away with their phones. And while everybody was all worried about the SB3 legal hemp in Texas, we want to be able to enjoy ourselves. This got signed into office. Got signed into the bills. And now he's got a special session on the books. And everybody's like, oh, they're gonna try to take away SB3 again. It's not even about that. It's about redistricting. They're putting into play everything that they could take away. Redistricting Texas so that they stay a Republican state. So that they can keep pushing this thing, like taking away rights from us, taking away our kids, their livelihoods, but they'll do not one damn thing about gun control. Not one damn thing. And my son was worried about that yesterday. He explained to me what if there's a school shooter, Dad? How will I get a hold of you? What, am I going to have to just get on the news while I'm at work? I'd rather him be able to have his phone to call me. But ChatGPT's doing their homework for him. Fuck you. Shame on you.
New Texas Laws, Part 2. HB 28. If you assault someone with a deadly weapon and it leads them to paralysis, now you will be charged with a first-degree felony. HB 1442. Has your neighborhood been taken over by drag racing? HB 1442 now gives police and prosecutors more power to shut it down. So Greg Abbott has set up a website now where you can report drag racing in your area. And then HB 2899 follows up the drag racing. If you are caught drag racing and you don't hurt anybody and you get caught, now your car will be towed and you cannot get it back. SB 840 protects healthcare workers. If you assault a healthcare worker while they are on hospital property, now you will be charged with a third-degree felony. So keep your hands to yourself. And now SB 21. Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill stating that the state of Texas can now buy Bitcoin. What are we going to do with Bitcoin money, y'all? And what is it going to get spent on?
Your kid will no longer be able to take their cell phone to school, at least for Texas families. Listen up. Starting September 1st, a statewide law will go into effect banning students from taking their cell phones or other electronic devices to school during school hours. Now, before Greg Abbott signed off on this, which was just a couple days ago, different schools had different policies. So sometimes, they would say you could bring your phone to school, but you had to store it in your backpack or in one of those little pouches. Or sometimes they would say that, you could take it, but it had to be off during school hours. But now with this new law going into effect, it can't be put away only during instructional hours, but literally the entire time your child's at school. Well, I know there are mixed feelings on this. Some parents obviously don't agree with this because they say that if there's a crisis, how are they going to get in touch with their students? We obviously saw in situations like what happened in Uvalde, some of those moments on these cell phones were some of the final times parents got to interact with their kid, and that's also some of the only ways that we found out of some of those last moments, those last accounts of what actually happened there, because students had their phones on them. Now, despite how parents and teachers feel about this new law, it's going to go into effect, but now school districts only have two options. So what are those two options? The first option is that the school district could just ban bringing cell phones to the actual property, to school campuses entirely, meaning a student can't even bring the phone to school. And the second option means that the student can actually bring the cell phone or device to campus, but they need to have a way to store it. And if the school opts for that option, they need to provide them with a way to store that, whether it be one of those little pouches or within their locker or even their backpack. Now, earlier today, I spoke with the teachers union, Alliance AFT, about this, and they said now that's the big concern. How are these districts actually going to enforce it? But also, how are they going to get the funding to do this? Because not a lot of money was set aside for school districts to do this. I think it was about $20 million that was actually set aside for districts to actually store these phones. But now she says that's just a pebble in the pond. So it's going to likely cost a lot more to, one, enforce it, but also to store these phones. So obviously, this is a pretty big deal. It's pretty controversial. Parents and teachers feel a certain way about it, but it's going to become law. So now I guess the next question is, what do parents think? Should kids at least be able to take them to school property even though they won't be able to use them throughout the day? Or should they just leave them at home entirely? Curious to know what you all think. Let me know in the comments.
Texas just banned cell phones in public schools. Yep, no more TikTok between classes. A new law, House Bill 1481, says every Texas public and charter school must ban student phone use during the school day starting this fall. That means no cell phones, smartwatches, pagers. Yeah, apparently those still exist, or anything that sends messages. Schools can lock them up, pouch them, or stash them, but they're off limits until class is done. Lawmakers say it's to help students focus, reduce cyberbullying, and improve mental health. But not everyone's happy. Parents are worried about emergencies, and some teachers say local schools should make their own rules. So what do you think? Smart move or total overreach? Drop a thumbs up emoji in the comments if you think it'll actually help students stay focused. I'm Stephen Thomas, your certified AI real estate agent, bringing you updates that matter right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Cell phone usage during school hours
ain't gonna stop
or a thing of the past.
Yeah, 'cause school life. It'll be back present in the fall.
Since the passing of House Bill 1481.
I was born in 80. We didn't have these problems.
The bill requires all Texas schools to ban students
Ban like prohibit?
from using personal devices during the school day.
Good luck with that. God gonna have to descend from heaven to help y'all with this one.
People in the community have mixed reviews on the ban.
That's them parents. Ain't nobody gonna take my baby phone. I wanna be able to be in contact with my child all day long, even when they in class. What if something happened? Shut up.
Well, before this bill, Texas school districts had the option to follow the cell phone policy.
There's no policy. Put it away, just don't let me see it, and we good.
Now, since HB 1481 passed,
Who went to HBCU?
this will be a requirement for all public and open enrollment charter schools in Texas.
It's gonna be like a laptop with no battery. It ain't gonna work.
Schools have two choices under the new law.
Don't follow it, or end up on the news for having to fight a kid trying to get their phone back.
Ban phones completely
They gonna still find a way to smuggle it
or
in.
make students store them during the day.
Who came up with this? And I wonder if they ever taught in the classroom.
You can also confiscate and even get rid of devices.
A black belt in judo couldn't take the phone from some of these kids.
But only after giving parents a 90-day written notice.
Watching on 90-Day Fiance.
A teacher I spoke with said they believe it starts at home.
That's the origin of all issues.
Parents set clear phone boundaries.
Ain't no boundaries.
It helps reduce cell phone use.
They don't.
In the classroom.
If you have the right relationships with your kids,
sometimes it can be out of sight, out of mind.
Cell phones have never been an issue.
Even if boundaries are set, they still gonna do what they want to do at school.
There's a mutual respect, and both teacher and students understand that respect.
The teacher understands. Students don't have a clue.
We'll discuss what this cell phone ban means for students and parents heading into the new school year.
World War III and a half. You teach in Texas, you need to have lesson plans, objectives, and a pair of boxing gloves.
Dude, I remember growing up, going in school, man, you couldn't talk when you weren't supposed to, you couldn't get up when you weren't supposed to, but now they've had to make a law in the state of Texas where kids can't use their cell phones from kindergarten through senior year. You know what? Kudos. I know some of you moms right now are going, oh, but how am I going to contact my baby in the middle of the day? Look, Mom, they're not at school to talk to you. If you want to talk to your baby that much, why don't you homeschool them? They're there to focus. They're there not to be on their electronics, not to be on social media, not to answer your questions while they're there. They are there to focus and learn. So, Texas, kudos, man. I'm so excited. I got 3 teenagers that they're not going to be happy when they hear about this, but I am. Way to go, Texas.
I felt this comment with my whole chest. I don't think parents understand how cell phones hurt versus help during school hours. I remember when a student got into a disagreement and one student was suspended. Well, his friends were still at the school. So when they came to school that day, they text the suspended child and let that child know, hey, he here. Y'all, that child came up to the school. His friends let him in the school from a locked door, and another incident ensued. So I understand parents because I am a parent, but y'all don't understand. These cell phones don't help at all.
One of the biggest things I'm hearing from students, and then students feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, as it relates to this no cell phone policy that Greg Abbott just signed into law, it's not so much about the cell phone policy itself. I think it's more so that students feel like there should be more focus on some of the more serious issues, such as their safety in the classrooms, having to have safety in place so there's not a lockdown, or if something is happening where there is a lockdown, they know that they're safe, they know that they can reach out, they know that they can communicate with the outside world outside of that building. So what it really sounds like is there needs to be more conversations about what this no cell phone policy will entail, how it will be carried out from district to district. Will it be streamlined? I think the biggest thing is that there is this push to have this no cell phone policy, but there doesn't seem to be enough conversation about what exactly that will look like for everyone.
Texas law is forcing schools to take action. House Bill 1481 requires all Texas schools to ban students from using personal devices during the school day.
It can impose dangers, especially when families need to contact their children.
This bill includes smartphones, tablets, and smartwatches. The author of the bill and former teacher, Representative James Tallarico, said this is a step in the right direction for teachers and students.
I spent a lot of my time policing cell phones. Instead of teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, I was monitoring for cell phone use, picking up cell phones, giving back cell phones, and that's just a waste of time.
Some parents, however, believe otherwise.
It should definitely be up to the parents and children. Just with everything going on now, I think it should be an option for sure. Having the option to be like, hey, Mom, I'm not feeling well, or hey, Mom, this is going on, just to keep parents updated so they feel safer. We're sending their kids to school.
And an anonymous teacher said the discipline of phone use should start at home, not being forced in the classroom.
There will be students that want to push the buttons, but it's all about how you develop that relationship with your kids in the classroom. And as long as it's positive and respectful both ways, it's not going to be an issue.
Several Central Texas school districts, including Killeen, Temple, and Belton ISD, have already put cell phone bans in place ahead of the new law. With the new law now in effect, more Texas schools are expected to follow suit in hopes of boosting focus and academic success in the classroom.
We as legislators are trying to step in and protect our students from these harmful products.
Now, school districts have 90 days to put the required policies in place, giving them time to decide how they'll enforce the new cell phone rules.
Is it legal for the school to charge me to get back the phone that I paid for because my broke-ass little best friend got it taken away at school? According to the education code in the state of Texas, yes, a school may charge up to $15 for you to get your own phone back from them that they confiscated from your broke-ass little best friend. But in order for them to do that, it has to be a policy that was adopted by the school board. According to 37.082 of the Texas Education Code, trustees of the school board can pass this, but the maximum that they can charge you is $15.
Okay, let's talk about it real quick. Let's make it make sense. Texas recently put a bill in place banning cell phones from K through 12 students during instructional time. Well, guess what, Texas? They are already 8 other states with this ban in place, and students are still using their cell phones. Because it's one thing to put the ban in place. It's something totally different to put policies and procedures in place of how we going to retrieve these cell phones from the very students who mama said do not give them the cell phone I paid for. See, the quiet part is not that cell phones need to be banned in schools. The quiet part is that cell phones are already banned in schools and students are still using them. You want to ban cell phones from the very students you can't even keep safe? Without these cell phones in students' hands, we would not see students attacking teachers. Without these cell phones, a lot of the things that the kids are recording, the district will be sweeping under the rug. Now, I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad when I say this, but I'm not saying that cell phones should be banned, and I'm not saying that cell phones should not be banned. But what I'm saying is that cell phone usage in the classroom, baby, is a classroom management issue. Now, there are some districts that have successfully banned cell phones, but parents cooperated and students did too. Teachers do not let the state have you up in that classroom fighting over a student's cell phone. The government want to ban everything, talking about they trying to keep kids safe, except for assault rifles. Make it make sense.
Happening. What's the wildest excuse a student has given you for needing to have their phone out during class? Texas might finally do what teachers have been begging for. Governor Abbott just signed House Bill 628, which allows Texas school districts to ban cell phone use during the school day. That's right. Lawmakers are finally backing what teachers have been saying for years. Put the phone away before I do it for you. Law goes into effect September 1st, 2025, and it also encourages schools to limit social media use on district devices and networks. Now, it's still up to individual districts to create and enforce these rules, but it does give districts the green light to go full no cell phones, period, on campus, if they want to. Now, can we be honest for a second? These phones have become little dopamine slot machines in kids' pockets. We're trying to teach plot structure, and they're scrolling TikTok trying to find the next viral sound. But I do have a question. Do y'all think districts are going to actually enforce this? Or is it going to be another no phones unless the kid argues loud enough policy? And how are parents going to react when they can't text little Jaden during third period because he left his hoodie at home again? Is this finally the win teachers needed? Or is this going to spark the next great school drama of 2025?
If you are a student in Texas, this is your warning. Starting September 1st, this has to disappear during school hours. It's the law. So a new law signed by Governor Greg Abbott is banning personal communication devices during school hours. Now, this includes cell phones, tablets, smartwatches, pagers. Yes, those still exist. And under the law, schools will have to pick one of 2 options. Either don't allow devices on campus at all, or have them locked up during school hours. And yes, there will be consequences if you break the rules, but it's up to each individual school to decide what that punishment is. Now, supporters say that this will help with tech addiction and improve mental health and cut down on distractions, but those arguing against it say, what happens if there's an emergency? So what do you think? Is this a smart move or overreach?